You may be an amazing coach, but you're not a great employee. And sometimes it's not your fault. Well, the first day is before you do anything, any training at all, you're going to learn how to clock in. People don't want to do something wrong. They want to be doing it right. And if you wait 3 and 4 times, they're going to be really frustrated when you finally do tell them, and you tell them with the tone of voice that's really not that nice. Hi guys, and welcome to Fireside Chat with the Johnstons. I'm Danielle. Okay, as you can see, it is Fireside Chat with the Johnston again today because Justin has taken the day off, flew from Missouri all the way to Michigan so that he can pick up a limo.
Flashback. Guys, you can get a used limo for pretty cheap. So Justin is going to get a used limo himself and use that. So it's going to be my personal vehicle.
He needed another hobby, I guess. He doesn't intend to use this limo as a commercial vehicle. He just wants to be able to drive a limo around town. So it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but falls in line with Justin. So guys, in light of that, I am excited to be here today, and I am going to chat with you guys about a question that I saw recently posed on one of the Cheer Gym forums. So I recently saw a question where a gym owner said, basically, how do you hold staff accountable? And I think this is such a common problem within gyms. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why. And I'm also going to give you the things that you need to do to solve this problem. Because without a solution, you are going to find yourself incredibly frustrated with probably some of the people who are phenomenal staff. And so we want to make sure that while they are great staff, they are also great employees, right? You may be an amazing coach, but you're not a great employee. And sometimes it's not your fault. Let's get into that. Let me tell you just a little bit about who we are in case this is your first time watching. So not only are Justin and I two of the owners of Next Generation Gym Owners, but also we own a gym here in Warrensburg, Missouri. It's a town of 20,000 people, so super small. And our gym does competitive cheerleading, competitive tumbling, competitive hip hop, recreational, cheer, gymnastics, hip hop, all of the things, including ninja, birthday parties, batting cages, because when you're in a small town, you have to do everything to have a large gym. So that is a little bit about us. We like to start off, I'm saying we as if Justin's here. We like to start off every episode with good news. I think it's really valuable because it forces you also to think about, like, what is one good thing that happened this week, right? Even if you had the worst week as a gym owner, you're having a bad month, heck, a bad year, it's important to find one thing that you are doing well and you just had a good week with. So whether that is gym life, personal life, whatever that is, now's the time to think about that. Mine is going to be, I was very intentional this year. Our youngest is starting high school and our second youngest is a senior in high school. I wanted to be very intentional to not miss those really important moments this year. And so I took off pretty much the whole day Wednesday, did an 8-hour photo shoot with our 17-year-old for her senior photos. And so it was a very long day, very excited. This amazing nationally known photographer just happens to live in our town and is known for senior photos. So that was my good news. It was fantastic. And I think in a couple of weeks, we will get some really great photos. So let's get into talking about staff accountability. If you are a gym owner who has struggled in the past to get your staff to just do the things you're asking them to do, I imagine that you are feeling very frustrated at times. And here's the thing. They may be the best coaches. They may coach athletes to championships and summit wins and worlds wins and all that, but they can't clock in on time or at all. So let's get into that because it's not even that I can imagine it. I've literally had those incredible coaches before who are not always super great employees. And it took me a long time to learn that all of that starts with me as the gym owner. So whether you're a manager, director, coach, this is a valuable topic for you guys. Let's get into it. Number 1, set clear expectations from day 1. So I'm going to tell you it's a little bit harder if you are working with a staff that you've had for a long time. Things have run the same way for a long time because it's almost like you're on a cruise ship that has to turn around. Like this giant ship can't make a pivot that fast, and you can't see this like immediate change that you are hoping for. So don't expect to see that. However, if you don't start making the change now, it will never happen. So set clear expectations with your current staff. Be really honest that things are going to change. As the gym grows, you've got to get some stuff off your plate. You've got to be able to automate a few things. And that means that you can't go clock them in after every shift because they forgot, right? You can't manually count their hours on their timesheet anymore because systems do that. Like free systems, will add the hours and you can just submit that to your payroll company. And so it's really not the best use of your time when there's free software that will do it for you. When I say set clear expectations, set this in your onboarding procedures for new staff. So once you hire a staff member, I want you to look at what is the onboarding process from the time you say you are hired to the time they are coaching out on the floor by themselves. That's what we would call onboarding. It's getting their tax paperwork and sending them through a process of training shifts and getting them acquainted with different parts of the gym and people they'll be working with. We have something in the Next Gen Academy that we promote for a lot of our Academy members called the Next Gen Staff Portal. Now, it's not only available to our Academy members, but they get a heck of a deal on it. The staff portal is something we use in our gym. Once you hire somebody, we send them logins. They go to the first course before their first day even begins, and it's called Start Here. That's where they can do all of their training, but we're not going to have them do training before their first day. We're going to have this Start Here section of the course where they can submit their tax paperwork, their direct deposit paperwork, etc. When they come in for their first shift, they're actually going to do an orientation course. And in that orientation course, we're going to talk about things like, wearing your uniform to work, where you should park, making sure that you are on time, and here's how you clock in, and stuff like that. So we're setting the tone from day 1 and teaching them exactly what's expected. When they arrive for their first shift, they actually have a staff member they're supposed to ask for, and this person is designated as a trainer. So this trainer is the person responsible for making sure that not only are the policies clear, but that they will be a qualified, capable coach of keeping kids safe out on the floor. Your trainer may be, your lead front desk person for the first shift, because really we're going over things like the staff handbook. We're talking about, the difference between a beginner tumbling class and an intermediate tumbling class. We're talking about more policies and procedures in that first day. Well, the first day is before you do anything, any training at all, you're going to learn how to clock in. So if your issue is that your staff is not clocking in, that's something we're setting the tone for from day 1. Guarantee that it's in the material by having consistent training and onboarding every single time, whether you're using a staff portal from NextGen or Cheer Gym Marketing, whether you're using Google Classroom or some sort of YouTube videos, whatever you choose to do, make sure it's consistent and that it's accurate. Review the staff handbook with them. Make sure they know in advance the expectations. You can do that in a video where you're walking alongside them while they're reviewing sections of the staff handbook, or you can do that with an actual person. I'm going to tell you, if your expectation is that they are simply reading the staff handbook and signing it, well, it's almost like you're having them read something one time and then expecting them to forever remember it like it's a quiz or a test, right? Even if they have a copy of it, I can't remember the last time I just thought as an employee somewhere, I'm going to go see if this is part of the policies at this, part-time job that I have. You have to start it from day 1. Make sure that clocking in is the most important thing. If attendance is your issue, make sure the first time that they train on a class, you're showing them how to do the attendance. Make sure that the people training them are consistent. You, as the owner, are always leading by example. While I don't clock in for a shift at the gym that I'm working, the other areas of that would totally apply to me, right? I'm going to take attendance every time. I'm going to wear my staff shirt every time. I am not the exception. So make sure you owners are leading by example for whatever you want your staff to be doing. Number 2, make sure that you are giving them regular feedback. So I know that people are going to say this feels micromanaging, right? Somebody doesn't clock in one time and you're telling them, hey, don't forget to clock in. But here's the thing. You need to be making consistent corrections. If somebody doesn't clock in one time and you do it for them, and then the second time you're like, they just forgot, I'm going to do it for them and clock them in. And then the third time you're starting to get annoyed. And so, by the fourth time, you're like, dude, you should be clocking in for a shift. But that person, that really wasn't fair, right? Because the first time would have been a good time before you were super frustrated about it to say, hey, just don't forget to clock in for your shift next time. The second time, hey, I did clock in for the shift today, but I really need you to remember next time. Third time, we can start getting more firm. Fourth time, honestly, you got a problem because now you either have an insubordination or someone who just doesn't care, or you haven't set up a system that is good enough for them to remember on a regular basis, right? Maybe they, like in our gym, we've got this board and it's like, here are all the classes happening at the different times. Here are the coaches that are coaching today. Here's where the class will take place. Anything our staff needs to see is also going to go up right next to that board. So if we're finding that people are forgetting to clock in, we're going to put a little sign up there. Are you clocked in yet? Help your staff, and you will find that you won't have to make those corrections as consistently. That said, make the corrections the first time. Okay? People don't want to do something wrong. They want to be doing it right. And if you wait 3 and 4 times, they're going to be really frustrated when you finally do tell them and you tell them with the tone of voice that's really not that nice. I am that person. If I do something wrong, I want to know the first time. I want to know almost immediately so that I can think back and analyze, okay, what did I do wrong so that I can fix it moving forward. Don't hold a staff meeting for one person or 2 people that are doing something and doing it wrong. When I talk to gym owners, I would say 75 to 85% of the gym owners I talk to, when I say, what is your staff meeting like? What does it consist of? They're saying, well, we're going over housekeeping things and policies and procedures and this and that, and then we train on skills. Like, okay, I'll give you, cool that you're training on skills. Sometimes it's necessary to review policies and procedures, but especially if you're in that situation where you're turning the ship around. But I am going to tell you, if you're hosting a staff meeting and the beginning just feels nagging, guys, we're forgetting to put up the mats at the end of the night. I really need you to do this. Again, you've waited too long to do that. Attack these situations on an individual basis with those who are actually making the mistakes, and don't wait until a staff meeting or specifically call a staff meeting for that. You should be addressing mistakes with individuals. Okay, number 3, give them a system that's easy to follow and holds them accountable in itself. So what do I mean by that? Maybe they're supposed to wear a staff shirt to work, and this person consistently forgets their staff shirt. Well, here's the accountability. Our front desk manager would say something almost immediately to a general manager if a coach went out wearing their University of Central Missouri t-shirt, right? Or their Gold's Gym. Our staff would hold one another accountable for that and say, hey, I think Susie here probably needs a shirt. So peer accountability can be the accountability in the system in itself. Additionally, if you are the only coach that walks in not wearing the staff shirt, that is a system of accountability within itself, right? If everyone in the room is wearing a blue shirt and I'm wearing a purple shirt, I probably feel weird. Make sure that you've got the extra shirts on hand. Have it in your staff handbook what that policy is, that if you have to give them an extra shirt, it will be, whatever is legal in your state, either deducted from their paycheck or they have to pay for it in advance. And guys, be willing to send people home. If you have somebody who is unwilling to pay wholesale price for the gym staff t-shirt, whatever that is, $7 or $10, and they're unwilling to pay that so they can work their shift, they're probably not going to work for me anymore, to be very honest. So, my staff has to know that, sure, we have extra shirts. You need to buy one. I'm selling them to you at cost, but it is responsible behavior in our gym that you would just wear what you're supposed to wear. And if you can't find it or you lost it or you forgot it, totally understand, you can buy one. Let's say you were talking about clocking in. We use Homebase. It's free, guys, unless you have a huge gym with, 30 something coaches. Homebase is a free option for you. We've talked about that before on here. Go back to the episode where Justin and I talked about how to digitize things in your gym and just get organized. But Homebase is wonderful for that. In addition, it's going to prompt you on your phone if you haven't clocked in for your shift in time. So that in itself will be accountability. If somebody doesn't clock in for their shift on time, I, as the designated manager on there, also get a notification that that is the case. So do something that's free. It's easy. It's not going to take a ton of your time to get it set up. And it's a fantastic solution for accountability. In 2024, we probably should not have paper timesheets when there are free software solutions out there. In addition, I'm pretty sure both major class management softwares offer clock-ins for staff. Taking attendance, if that is your issue, make sure not only that your coaches know why it's so important, but make sure there's some level of accountability. Is there the gym iPad and it's accessible and it's easy, and whoever the floater coach is walking around making sure that, hey, did you already get attendance? Okay, great. Who is the worst person in the gym at attendance? Me. I'm the worst. But now that I coach 3 teams, I don't get to be bad at it anymore. I'm not great, in a season where I'm not coaching any teams and I'm just filling in for somebody. I'm not great then. But thank goodness we have that floater coach or front desk person who's going to say, hey, didn't see the attendance input yet. Do you mind if I just take it for you? Or, hey, do you mind taking a second to do that before you leave tonight because I noticed it wasn't done, right? Super easy as people are clocking out. Have that front desk person pull up the staff portal and see which attendance was not taken for certain classes. Make sure you have plenty of iPads if you don't want people on their phones. iPads, a refurbished iPad is not that expensive. I saw one at a gas station for like less than $200. So you can get refurbished iPads pretty cheap, or some sort of tablet or $150 laptop, whatever it is, where people can go in and easily take attendance. Finally, the last one, number 4, make sure that you create a culture of accountability. This, I talked about it a little bit already, but a culture of accountability means that you are going to hold one another accountable when you see something wrong. And it doesn't just mean you as the owner, the leader, the manager. I would venture to say I have junior coaches who would say, oh, hey, do you need a staff shirt? I actually have one. I have an extra one. Or, oh, hey, do you want me to take attendance for your class? Like, I don't think my junior coaches are afraid to hold people accountable. And I love that. Create a culture of accountability where everybody understands the why behind the what. Why does it matter that we take attendance? Why does it matter that we're wearing our staff shirt? Why does it matter that we clock in? And that they care about the reason. You can find people who care by hiring the right people and starting them off from day one on the right track. Hungry, humble, and smart people will be fantastic for holding one another accountable within your gym. All right, guys. Well, I hope you found that helpful. I know today was kind of a short episode in a strange background for us because I was not up in the studio today. We had actually already recorded an episode and the audio did not work because Danielle doesn't know which end of the audio cable to plug in, evidently. So thank you for bearing with me on that. I am excited to be back on here next week with Justin, the other half of Fireside Chat. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Fireside Chat with the Johnston. If you liked this video, make sure you hit subscribe so that you can see more episodes just like this.